G'day world, let's get proactive with developing your marketing strategy and build a brand on purpose. So in the previous episode, we talked about working with your team to flesh out your idea and whether or not it has legs. Now, as mentioned, that previous way of looking at your marketing strategy, that proactive team planner, is a perfect one-page marketing strategy. That is something that you can distribute throughout your organization and everybody can keep it clear in front of mind, put it on the wall, whatever it is, on their desk, so that everybody is literally on the same page when you're moving through the campaign. Now, in order to answer some of those questions that were in that previous methodology, we need to go down deeper and we need to chunk down that information even further. And that is because in order to develop a awesome marketing strategy, you need to adopt the saying that culture is strategy. Seth Godin said that. And when I first saw that, I needed to fully understand, if culture is strategy, what is the origin of culture? Well, values inspire purpose, purpose inspires actions, actions inspire culture, and culture is strategy. The origin of strategy is culture, then what is the origin of culture? Values inspire purpose, purpose inspire actions, actions inspire culture, and culture is, of course, strategy. This requires us to both work on ourselves and our team in order to make sure that our organizational culture is on the right page. And so in order to do that, like I said, it's both professional and personal. And let's put that the other way around. It's both personal and professional. And so in order to understand our own values and purpose, we may need to dive deeper and ask ourselves a lot more questions. So that is part of this chunking down of information that we need in order to develop this purpose even further. So as you can see, when we're looking at this methodology, it has the same structure, the proactive structure, and box 1, purpose, has the 6 P's. So passion and values, problems, people, planet, product, and profit. So when we're looking at these 6 P's, what are your values and passions? Okay, so in order to understand that, we may need to ask ourselves a lot of questions, like I said, and that might be, who inspired us when we were younger, and who inspires us now, what values they have, and normally when you can describe someone else's values, funnily enough, they happen to be yours as well. With the problem, what is the problem that only you can solve? So remember, we're talking about our personal purpose here. What is the problem only you can solve? And it's like your superpower, what you're really, really good at. Who do you enjoy serving? Who are those people that you actually like helping? And the planet, how does the planet benefit from your product? If you are not implementing a environmental, reason for your product existing, and the environmental cause behind your brand, product, or service, then I guess it's not going to have as big an emotional quality about it than it might have if it actually had that environmental aspect. Environmental or social. So there's a caveat in there. Social and environmental are really big factors for people making purchasing decisions and or feeling great after the purchase. So product. Does the product solve these problems, right? So the problems that only you can solve, right? Great. Does the product that you create solve those problems? The problem that the market has, does the product solve those problems? As I may have said earlier, the whole emphasis behind building a brand on purpose is to solve problems worth solving. That is, You are effectively analyzing the market and making sure that you aren't just coming out with another, I guess, fluffy widget, right? It's not, hasn't really got any staying power. Okay, profit. How do you plan to support a cause other than what it is your organization's cause is? So oftentimes today I'm seeing, new brands and new companies being created that they have their own cause. They are developing products to serve an environmental, social cause, and they are the cause, right? So Zero Co is actually a really great example. Okay, they create reusable plastic products for us to use at home, and similarly, they're also doing massive cleanups around the globe. They've started in the Philippines, for example, where they're cleaning up beaches and environments and removing plastic from those environments. You also have other causes happening, like ocean cleanups and things like that. So while their initial product solves a problem, they also have another associated cause, which is the cleanups. Fantastic. I mean, marriage made in heaven if you're looking at a organization that is absolutely building a brand on purpose and solving a problem worth solving. So as mentioned, we do this personally first. Then we do it, and this is also each part of your team, each leader of certain departments will need to do this exercise personally as well. Then we bring it all together and we form the values and purpose of the organization, and understand that we are in alignment here. If we're not in alignment, it's going to be a lot harder. I'll tell you that right now. And so this is a cultural play. And when you get your organization's culture right, all of this marketing that you're doing is going to be so much easier, because you're just going to have buy-in from everyone. They're going to be absolutely ready to go, and they're going to be your champions. Just as much as you're championing the brand, they're going to champion it as well. Okay, so as discussed, we're looking at the other ways that we need to do research for developing out this proactive marketing plan. And under the research banner, we have another methodology that I like to call probe. So that is understanding the phrases that people are typing in to find your product or service. Do they even exist? Do those searches even exist? And in some cases, we're coming up with fantastic ideas, because we're operating inside a vacuum, i.e. there's no one else that we're actually testing this against. And of course it's a bloody good idea because we came up with it, right? But when we actually go to market and we figure out who is searching for this, we might find that no one is searching for those phrases that you've used to describe your product. Happens all of the time. And so therefore we need to figure out whether or not we're going to educate the market and stay the course on that terminology, or whether or not we're going to be a little bit more lenient with ourselves and describe the product in layman's terms so that people get it. Interestingly, I've had an experience recently whereby it's a product that, on the surface, it's carving out a blue ocean. That is, that it's operating in a whole new space and without many competitors. And so that was due to one of the words that it was using. Now, this product couldn't just perform, well on the internet. It had to perform well in retail as well. And retail, products need to be able to perform well on their own in a retail space. That is, they tell the consumer exactly what it is without too many questions, because people don't buy in a state of confusion, right? They need to understand what the hell it is they're buying, and quickly. And so some of those words that were on the front of this packaging absolutely needed to change, and the way that the package and the product was described needed to change to meet the market. And what those phrases are that they're currently using, they're actively using right now in order to find and buy those products. So that also helps. The right now part of probe methodology helps us to figure out whether or not we're operating on the innovation adoption curve. Where are we? So innovation adoption curve has innovation, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Okay, now innovation phase sometimes can last years, and depending on what's happening in the environment, depending on uptake of certain terms, certain new products, the downfall of other products, that innovation phase can last, like I said, years. So 5 years is really normal for an innovation phase. Sometimes 10, sometimes 20, sometimes a whole generation, right? So then we have the early adopters. And so if we're in the innovation phase, we've got a hell of a lot of education and have a hell of a lot of, staying power, to get through that period of time, and finance to actually get an organization through that period. So sometimes we don't really want to be in the innovation phase, I'll be honest. And maybe that could be the killer of this idea. Or you need to change it up. Opinions. We find out who else has an opinion. What other brands, competitors out there? If one of those has an opinion and they have a brand name that uses just English phrases or English words, then it's possible we could hijack that brand by using that brand name or phrase in our marketing. Look, it is sometimes fun to do, sometimes a little bit evil, but competition can actually drive us to do that, especially if they're not really doing right by the industry and selling an inferior product. Expression, how are we going to express ourselves and what mediums are we going to use, or what's already being used out there, and finding out, okay, well, they're not using that one, we need to use that one. So then we're looking at the opportunity. I like to call it the sub-methodology I win. So it's insights, website/platform, integrations, and networks. So the insights that we need to gather are by using the value innovation curve. So that comes from the book Blue Ocean Strategy. Okay, so that idea. And developing the value innovation curve is different to the innovation adoption life cycle. So just to confuse you even further. And so what that does is it helps you map out all of the products, features and benefits, services, features and benefits, and then plot on a line against all of your competitors where you're going to carve out your blue ocean. So they might have a high price and low quality. Therefore, you will have low price, high quality, for argument's sake, right? Difficult to do, of course. That's just an example. And so then we move on to the platform. Where are you going to send people? How are they going to purchase? What's your plan of attack there? Is it walk into store? Is it go to a market? Is it call up to get you out to do something in my home? And the website, how is it going to need to function in order to service all of those things? Nearly in every case, the website or an app is that platform that we're working with these days. And so the integrations that we're going to need in that system in order to make all of this work is a very important question. And look, this kind of stuff is potentially not something that the board or the senior C-suite is able to understand or carve out, but it is important a question to answer when doing a marketing strategy and marketing campaign. So networks, where are we going to tap into? Physical and digital. Who are we going to be able to, join as a membership group? Creating your own community around a brand is actually like fantastic, But sometimes in order to get started, we need to become part of another community and partner with them. And that is often, a great way to get started. As you know, the rest of it is much the same as the previous methodology, but based on all this new information, you could actually be changing or updating that information in the audience profiles and the content that you're creating, where you're turning it on, and how much you're going to ignite and verify and evolve this further. So that is the proactive research, I think, framework, just so that you can see if you're going to solve a really big problem, how you can chunk this down into smaller parts so that you can absolutely build a brand on purpose and be proactive with your marketing. And let me just tell you that this is, a difficult process. And that's why we've created this methodology. That's why we have all these extra parts in it. And look, all of the questions that underlie all of these boxes, are a lot. There's a lot of questions. And why? Because we just really want to get down to the root cause of why you're doing it, and are you the right people to be doing it? And, is this product absolutely the right product to be solving these problems? And I always hear that, there's no competition. Every time I walk into a new marketing meeting with a new client, there's no competition. Well, a little bit of research from me, I end up finding like a handful, and in about half an hour, and go, well, this is a real competitor here. And so I think a bit more time doing your research would absolutely, could save a lot of money, and doing your marketing strategy absolutely can save a lot of wasted investment on chasing those problems that you're thinking you're solving that may already been done by other organizations, and all of a sudden you didn't even know you're operating in a boiling red ocean, the opposite of a blue ocean. That is a highly competitive space, and your product is just not good enough to get the cut through and succeed. So I wish you all the best on this journey, and we will break this down even further. So in the next parts, we'll go through the purpose, the 6 Ps, and so on and so forth. So I look forward to seeing you again. Keep watching on our YouTube channel. Just search for MeMedia or the Proactive Podcast. All of this information will also be available on memedia.com.au, and you can listen on the Proactive Podcast as well on Apple and Spotify. Cheers, and thanks for watching.